ready. So I'm going to try and create the scene of the African savannah for you. They're the most stark landscapes in terms of the barren hills and rocky ridges, and then you've got the great swath of the African savannah grasslands, and that's the home to the wildebeest, the antelopes, elephants, giraffes, the whole range of the savannah animals. And then you've got the big cats. So you start with the lion that is so strong and powerful. And then you get down to cheetah size and the little nervous cheetah who knows that it's got to catch its game and consume it before another carnivore will come along and steal it from him. And then you've got the leopard that to me is one of the coolest of the carnivores. It's solitary in the way it preys upon the animals that it eats, like small antelopes, but it'll even range up to buffalo size. They're extraordinary creatures. So they're cool and they're agile. What's the other word I'm looking for here? Elegant. I've had a great life in the fact that for the last 40 years I've been working in the African savannah environments of East Africa. And that was the birthplace of humankind. And I think we've sort of forgotten some of our roots. We were the prey of some of these big cats to begin with. And I think they've shaped our lives in a lot of ways. I'm talking about our evolutionary history, not just our lifetimes, but the lifetime of humankind. Leopards have got a particular sort of behavior. They store their kills in trees, and that left a source of meat sitting up in the trees that an intelligent primate, one of our earliest ancestors, was able to take advantage of and scavenge from those finds. As our brain got bigger, and that's what characterizes humankind in contrast to our closest primate relatives, we've got a big brain, and that's an expensive tissue to sustain. Protein comes in big packages in dead carcasses, and there was one up a tree that probably was a source of food for scavenging early on in our history. So it shaped our minds, in a sense, the interactions with these cats. I've been working in a national game park in northern Kenya, and I've seen the demise of carnivores in this national park. It's partly climatic. There's been droughts, there's a population increase, there's been problems with poaching, and so all the big cats are endangered today. With the demise of the big cats, some of the smaller carnivores lower down in the food chain, monkeys and baboons in particular, they're rapidly multiplying, and baboons have become a real nuisance with the raiding of crops and noxious with small farms throughout Africa. Just on the point of leopards that live in bush and wooded areas, those areas are being cleared for agricultural fields. When you don't have forest, you don't have woodland, you don't have bush, then the erosion will set in. What lies at stake here is the erosive power of natural forces like water, rain, flooding. So that's another really important reason for keeping the balance in these ecosystems. So what can we do about this in the future? That's a really important question. There's different levels of education, and one of them is educating the local communities about wildlife ecology. Over the last 15 years, I've developed field schools in Africa. So I have 50 or 60 young Americans going out and getting first-hand experience of the wildlife of Africa and learning to observe it systematically, and also learn about the conservation of these animals. I think it's in the next few generations to come that if we don't have some activists, we're going to deny future generations of even observing that wildlife. it'll have less meaning if they're going to see these animals even in zoos. Possibly those will be gone from zoos or just seeing pictures in books. I think we owe the generations to come more than that. We might even learn more by their existence and living side by side with them in these modern day African settings.